All right, guys, we're getting right into it. I'm going to give you the #1 resource that you will ever find when it comes to product testing and validating products. This is no joke. I literally have built this spreadsheet from the ground up and used it for the last year to teach my private students, and now I'm finally releasing it to everyone else. And guys, trust me, you're going to want to use this. This has genuinely changed the game for me and my students. We don't have to worry about testing products anymore. We don't have to worry about wasting ad spend. We don't have to worry about anything when it comes to launching products, because by the time you finish filling out the spreadsheet, you will 100% either know you should launch it or no you shouldn't. And not just that, but you're also going to be able to get really valuable insights from your competitors and use all of these resources and all of this research to make educated and informed decisions going forward. So stick around, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy the video, and we'll get right into it. All right, guys. So obviously, looking at the spreadsheet, you're going to notice that there is a lot going on, but trust me, hang in here for a second. You are going to want to watch this. You're going to want to see how much value this actually gives you. I'm going to walk you through step by step how to do this. So first, we're going to start out by grabbing your product. This is the first step. Ideally, you've already found a couple of products. I use this spreadsheet typically when I have 3 products and I'm trying to decide which product to launch and which product to move forward with, right? There's so much thought that goes into how do I launch this product? Which one is going to be the best product for me? And so this is really going to be an analytical way to make these decisions. This isn't just guesswork. We're taking our competitors' information and data, and we're going to use that to our advantage to make sure that we launch a better and improved product. That's what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to do this wasted research and never use this data again. We're using this data for the rest of the launch, in my opinion. So we'll get right into it. I've went ahead and identified a product opportunity. It was beetroot powder. Seen this all over the place, especially with beetroot gummies and beetroot tinctures coming up. Powders are kind of a slept-on way. Obviously, there's a lot of huge products in here, so it's not probably the best product to launch, but we're going to use this as an example. So we're going to do all of the research on this product, so we're going to answer this. Beetroot powder. Ideally, you know what it does. I am just going to say like blood circulation and whatever. There's probably a lot more that beetroot does, but I'm just going to be very simple. Next question is, where do I do my research? So we're going to do research on Amazon specifically for this video, but I also like to do research on Reddit too. Those are the 2 places I do most of my product research, but we'll start with Amazon and Reddit. Next are resources that you get. So if you get any Reddit threads, you throw them here, and your Amazon ASINs that we do research, you grab them here. So this is, we'll fill these out as we go, but let's just get started. So first things first, after filling out these first 2 forms, next thing you're going to do is you're going to go straight into Amazon. You're going to go right here and type in your search, beetroot powder. You've seen I've already done that. Now, I use a couple of softwares to assist me in this process. First thing is going to be DataDive and Helium 10. Those are the first 2 softwares you're going to need to use to make this work. I'm going to go immediately start with DataDive. I'm going to open a dive box. You could also, I think, just use Helium 10 and use their X-ray machine. Their X-ray is very similar to DataDive. I like DataDive better, but you can do it with either. So I'm going to be very simple, and I'm going to open up 5. We're going to do 5 for this example's sake. I want y'all to do 10. Hear me out here. I want y'all to do 10, but we're going to do 5. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up all of these new listings in a new tab. That's essentially all we're using DataDive for, is just identifying the top 10, making sure these are all applicable. These are all beetroot powders. Yep. Well, that's a capsule, but who cares? We're still going to do it. Typically, you want to be as applicable. So if we're doing powders, you should only do powders. So let's just do it. Actually, I'm not gonna short y'all here. I'm gonna give y'all all the games. So let me just start and only open powders. So it's a capsule. This is a powder. There we go. Nitric oxide or snap. Okay, there we go. That's another one. We're gonna do that. Rosabella. This is capsules. That's powder. Good old Force New. Yep, great team. God, I was just with all these people just recently. Force Factor crushes it right now. Great, so now we have 5. I was literally with Snap, I was with Force Factor, and I was with Micro Ingredients yesterday, the founders. So funny, but they're crushing it. So let's use them as an example. This is great, super easy. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna review extract. So previous to this method of research, you would need to manually go through here and open up every review, read through it, see what you take insights. It takes so much time to do this. It is so exhausting to read through hundreds, if not thousands of reviews. But with this method, we don't have to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to use Helium 10's Review Insights Extractor. So if you don't know how to get the Helium 10 Chrome extension or the DataDive Chrome extension, which I've already used in both, just look it up, right? Helium, if you look up Helium 10 Chrome extension, I'll make sure to link this below, but that's all you do. Click this Chrome extension, make sure you sign up for an account. I have a link that gets you a free 2 weeks for DataDive and Helium 10. So make sure y'all use that. Very, very useful. So go for that and we'll get right into it. So now that we have this Chrome extension added, we're gonna open up Review Insights and we're gonna let it load. All right, now that it's loaded, you're gonna see a couple things. 707 reviews out of 2,084. Now, that's okay. I'm gonna be okay with only grabbing 707 out of 2,000. If you really wanna be very strong about it, you can do like only verified reviews, which I kind of like the idea of that, but you don't have to. But honestly, you don't need all 2,084 reviews. If you wanna be super analytical, go for it. But I'm just gonna say, let's start with 707. Quick note here, if you have the free version of Helium 10, you are not able to extract more than 100 reviews at a time. So you need to get the paid version of Helium 10. So in my case, I'm gonna download all 707 of these. I'm gonna export table. Now, I'm gonna go through the same process for all 5 of these listings. In your case, you wanna do it for all 10. Let it load and extract the reviews. So we're gonna just one at a time. It's gonna fetch the reviews and then we're gonna download it again. You can see this one had 755 out of 5,000 reviews. That's fine. There's so many reviews here, we don't really care for all of them. Same thing with this. We're gonna come here, Review Insights, let it load. We got 291 out of 363. That's fine. We'll take them all. On to the next, Review Insights. All right, 285 out of 484, download, and one more time. All right, so now that we have this last one being downloaded, we're gonna go straight to ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT specifically for combining all of these sets. So we just downloaded 5 different spreadsheets. We're gonna ask ChatGPT to add all of them together. All right, so now that we have all of this added, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna say, now combine all of these sheets. Do not change any data. Great. Now, while that's doing it, we're gonna pull up this prompt. All right, now that we have all of this downloaded, what we're gonna do is we're gonna download this file. It's returned all of them into one, which is great. I'm sure it's, thousands of reviews now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move to Claude AI. I have tested this personally with probably every AI. I've done DeepSeek, Claude, Grok, ChatGPT, all of them. I have found the best success specifically with Claude. I think Claude is specifically the 3.7 version of Claude. I have the best results when using this prompt. This is a lot of data, and to be completely transparent with you, the AI is probably not gonna go through all of the data, but what it can do is go through most of the data, extract a lot of what we're looking for, okay? And so what we're looking for is to use the following prompt. So I'm gonna read you this prompt. I'm also gonna link this down below. In the resources that I talked about at the beginning of the video, you're gonna have all of this. You're gonna have the spreadsheet, you're gonna have all of the prompts I use, you're gonna have all of the links that you need to have. So basically what this is going over is it's a large set of views. You need to extract insights, all reviews carefully, and count how many each times each insight appears. Be thorough and precise in your analysis. Organize everything. We're going over all of the different questions here, which I know y'all haven't seen yet, but we'll go through these in a minute. So very important for it to go through the objections, the wants and benefits, the desires. There's so many things that we're gonna have this go through, and we are going to be analytical about all of it. So we're gonna let it go through this, and we're gonna upload. All right, so make sure you upload the combined file before you send this, the one that ChatGPT gave you back. So you see combined beet products. That's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna send this and let it think for a minute. This may take a few minutes. Let it load. All right, guys, now that Claude's finished, just so you know, sometimes it'll ask you to continue. Just click continue and let it keep going. Now that it's finished going through all 2,578 customer reviews, you'll see that it's identified. It's gone through every review in the entire list we gave it and went through and looked for all of the mentions of specific, complaints or benefits or whatever. And so you can see that the number one benefit in taking beetroot is blood pressure improvement. So that means most people going to buy beetroot are they're actually purchasing it because they want blood pressure improvement. They also want energy boost. They want overall health improvement. They want natural and organic products. These are all benefits that the products that we want to implement into our product and hit on. It's workout performance. It's helped with that. These are all great things. Wants and desires. This is what people are wanting out of the product. More energy, better circulation, endurance and stamina, lower blood pressure, etc., etc. These are all things that we need to go over. What are some objections? Bitter and earthy taste, huge. So we know we need to address that early on. Beet juice is the other products they've tried and failed at. So we're gonna go through here and fill out one by one the spreadsheet. So we can close all these other tabs now. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to copy and paste these objections in. So I have test stuff in here now, but we're just gonna go through here one by one and copy and paste it. As tedious as this can be, this is super important that we do it because this is all going to be data that we go off of, and we wanna see how this looks. It's not sorted in any type of way, so just so you know, just be aware that you might see some discrepancies, but it is going to look cool once this is all filled out. And then I try to stop at like anything under 50 mentions. Sometimes you can, you know, whatever. I'm gonna add heart health in here just because, you know, we can. And then we're gonna clear these references and start filling out the new ones. So we're gonna do 318 mentions. Make sure you only type in the number. So 237, 92, 145, 95. All right, so you can see now that this is how it should look. You're able to see that the number one thing at a high level, at a quick glance, what do people care about, right? And we're seeing immediately that it is the blood pressure improvement. But you know, you also kind of see a spike here. People care about natural and organic. People also care about workout performance. These are all things that you might not have noticed earlier on, but we can see it at a high level. So stage 2 is if you want to do another check for maybe a comparison of a product, right? So maybe you're comparing beetroot to beet juice. I don't know, right? There's just different versions of things, like of comparisons you can do to see if there are different benefits. Or another good way to test this is, let's say you do 5 capsules and you do 5 powders, or you do a heart health product versus a gut health product. You can just use this for comparison however you want. I'm just gonna leave it here as a test just so you can use it however. I'm not gonna use it in this video. Competitor products, you can also just add your competitor products and notes in here. I just have it on here before we get into the next stuff, but no worries to, you know, adding it right now. We can skip that. Wants and desires. This is where we're going to take from the next thing too. So we're going to see more energy. All right. So I just filled out wants and desires. You can see more energy is obviously number 1. I'm going to go through and fill this whole thing out and we'll review it after. All right, guys. Now that we have the whole thing filled out, this is what we're going to do. I'll go over the whole thing with you. Obviously we just did Amazon research. I added all the ASINs. The ASIN is the 5-digit code, or like whatever the digit code after the Amazon link. It's super important that you use that because that's how you can always find the product super quickly. And we're going to go through this product. So we're going to see that obviously the number one benefit people are looking for is blood pressure improvement. Now, why does that matter? That matters because that needs to be the number one focus of your ad creatives and your listing images. Your packaging, your branding, everything should be around blood pressure improvement. Now, you can also be making it about energy boosting. You can be talking about natural and organic. You can just be talking about health improvement. Maybe show an older person in their 50s looking like they're restored and youthful. You want to paint this picture, and you're able to know what picture to paint because we have this data, because we can see it visually. We can actually understand what's working and what's not. And so I hope I can zoom in here a little bit and go over this with y'all. Wants and desires, super simple. More energy. People want more energy. They want better circulation. They want endurance and stamina. They want lower blood pressure, and they want better health. This is super important. We know that these wants and desires are accurate, and we want to go after them. That is what we should be doing. That is how we go about it. Super important that we can see this, that we use this. This is stuff that we use in our ad creatives. Maybe your hook becomes, are you in your 50s and do you feel like you don't have any more energy? Obviously, that's not like a well-structured hook, but you see how I'm implementing it. It's very important that we're taking these. Objections to handle. Why is this so important? Well, because this is before launch. I know initially if I'm going to launch a powder, I need to address the bitter and earthy taste. So you can add a bitter blocker in there. You can add lots of different ingredients to try to take away that bitter taste, but that's something that I'm going to address immediately, and I'm going to make a creative, like a listing image, talking about no bitter taste. That's going to sell. That's going to add conversion value, and that's going to add and start incentivizing your customer to go with you over the other competitor, right? That gives you a competitive edge on your competitor. So make sure you are doing this. Make sure you are trying to notate and taking these into consideration. Too sweet. So if it's too sweet, then that's a lot of references, 91 references. So maybe we shouldn't make it that sweet. So be very, very aware of what your customers are saying, because even though they're not your current customers, those customers that are buying from your competitors can become and will become your customers. So take these as your own customers and your own customer feedback. Other products they've tried and failed at: beet juice, other supplements, coffee, fresh beets. So coffee, right? Coffee's 103 here. Very, very specific. And so is beet juice. You could say, you could have a listing image, a compare and contrast photo, and you can say no more coffee or no more beet juice. Instead, take this. Instead, take make that. And that's something that we're able to notate because we've seen that people complain that, oh, we tried coffee, I didn't help. I tried taking beet juice, it didn't help. So we want to play on these strings. This is emotional connections that these customers are voicing. If you take the time to write a review, obviously you either had a really good experience or a really bad experience. So we need to analyze this very thoroughly. Day-to-day struggles. People deal with high blood pressure. We obviously know that. It's a circulation product. So we can kind of skip this. But, anxiety. It's a really low reference, so I wouldn't really worry about this one. But if it was higher, well, then maybe we would make a creative, or we would make a listing image, or make a packaging notation on stress and anxiety. But we don't have to do that for this one. Buzzword. Look at this. 1,396 references to taste. So what's most important? What did you get most out of this research? Taste. Taste is most important. Not ingredients, not appearance, not branding, taste. That is what's most important. So you should be really, really putting an emphasis on that. If you didn't do this research, if you didn't get this spreadsheet, if you didn't analyze thousands of Amazon reviews, how would you notice that? How would you know that taste is the most important thing that people ask about or complain about? So that's the hidden gem in here, right? This is the secret sauce that you see that all of my students, this is what I've been doing. This is how we're able to launch a product and ensure that we're launching something successful every time because we have that competitive edge. We know that we're improving on someone else's product. We know that what we're doing, there is a desire for. So we're gonna move on. Powder. People are referencing the powder a lot. Obviously, we only did powder, so it makes sense. Beets, obviously it's a beetroot powder, so it doesn't really make sense. And blood pressure. Obviously, we knew that, but still important to notate. Energy, 333. You're seeing a lot of references to the same things. Morning, this is interesting. So maybe people are looking for it to take in the morning. We saw coffee earlier, and we also saw morning now. So maybe people are looking for something to replace their morning routine. So what do? We make a creative saying your one and only drink for your morning routine, right? Replace coffee, replace your hydration drink, replace whatever with beetroot powder. This is what you should be doing. And because it tastes good, right? Then we have golden nuggets here. Makes my body process oxygen and more efficiently. I can run longer, last longer, exercise better without getting winded. Libido of an 18-year-old, 2 facts. Look at that. That is a golden nugget. This review proves that this process works in the product. So how can we use this? Well, obviously we want to say that I can run longer, last longer. I can do exercise harder. There's so much more you can pull out of these golden nuggets. I love these golden nuggets. I recommend if you were a runner, this will boost your gains. My third order, and it has benefited my blood pressure, stabilized my blood pressure, reduced my blood pressure. These are golden nuggets. These are things that your customers are raving about. So we should really be looking at it. At the end here, I didn't really fill this one out, but it's your competitors. You want to see where you rank compared to your competitors. Who's the top dog? Who's selling 1,000 units a month? Who's selling 30,000 units a month? Who's selling 200 units a month? Just be able to see it. So guys, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you saw and you were able to take a lot out of this video. This is genuinely my favorite research tool of all time. I genuinely love working in this tool. I hope you enjoy the tool, guys. Make sure to drop any questions. I have another video coming out how I use this tool from start to finish. This is a guide on how the tool works, how you can use it. But I'm talking in my next video is talking all about how to get launched from the beginning. So guys, if y'all did enjoy this video, make sure to reference the beginning of the video where I talked about how you get this research document. And guys, if you do want more of the tools like this, I have links down my calendar, my personal calendar, work with me one-on-one. All of my students get all of these tools and a lot more that we work with and that we use behind the scenes. Obviously, I give a lot of free game out here on YouTube and I try not to gatekeep anything, but there are just some things that we are only using internally because they're not finalized yet. They're not perfected yet. Once they're perfected, I put them out on YouTube. I'm never trying to gatekeep from y'all, but if y'all do want to work with me one-on-one, there is an application below. If you did enjoy the video and you just want to support me, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, comment any questions or any other videos that you'd like to see. And don't forget to get this resource, guys. I want to see y'all using this. I want to see that y'all are actually getting the benefit of this and y'all aren't having to waste money in ad spend or launching all these creatives and whatever. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know what the next video wants to be and I will see you on the next one. Peace.